Do you remember 2022? Do you remember the 9th of July? The 9th of July 2022, a day the world stood still and watched, a day the people of this country rose as one. No politics, no race, no division, just unity for the nation. They came together from every corner of the island. They gathered at Face, and with one voice, they sent a message to the ruler who oppressed them. Go home. Before the strength of the people, change followed. That day belonged to the people. It's a day no journalist will forget. Those who stood with pens, those who stood with cameras, those who stood for the people's right to know. Sirasa will never forget. For months, we reported on the people's struggle, and that night, we were there on duty, fulfilling our responsibility. And this is what happened to our unarmed journalists. Seven injured, 7 hospitalized. Now, 3 years on, the fight for justice continues. A fundamental rights case is before the Supreme Court. The Human Rights Commission is investigating. Even then, we said it loud and clear. Those behind this must face the law. Today, the courts and the commission are hearing the truth. Until justice is served, Sirasa will not back down.
A very good evening. You're watching Primetime News on TV1 live and direct from our Newsfirst studios in Colombo. Bringing you the news, I'm Juadabdin.
And I'm Theruni Karunaratna. Here are tonight's top stories.
Pillayan had prior knowledge of the Easter Sunday attacks. CID uncovered raft of new information on the attack. Public Security Minister Vijay Pala says in Parliament.
පිල්ලයන් පාස්කු ප්‍රහාරය සිදුවන අවස්ථාවේදී මඩකලපුව බන්ධනාගාරයේ සිටිමින් ඔහු පාස්කු ප්‍රහාරය පිළිබඳව පූර්ව දැනුවත්භාවයකින් සිටි බවට මේ වෙනකොට කරුණු අනාවරණය වෙලා තියෙනවා.
Who is Abu Hind? Was Sarah killed or abducted? MP Mujbar questions.
සාර මැරිලා කියලා DNA වාර්තා ගන්නවා. සාරාගේ නමට දුරකථනයක් අරන් දිනවා 2024 වෙනි මාසේ 1 වෙනිදා.
Prisons Commissioner General granted bail. Entry to any prison premises denied. Specialist Dr. Maheshi's daughter granted bail. Wanidu Hasaranga ruled out of T20 series against Bangladesh.
On to those stories in detail now. Minister of Public Security Anand Vijay Pala revealed in Parliament today that investigations have uncovered that Sivanesathurai Chandrakanthan alias Pillayan was aware of the 2019 Easter Sunday attacks while he was in custody at the Batticaloa prison at the time.
The revelation made during today's adjournment debate on the Easter Sunday attacks. Former Deputy Minister Sivanesathurai Chandrakanthan alias Pillayan is currently in the custody of the Criminal Investigation Department under detention orders in connection with multiple charges.
On the 21st of April 2019, Easter Sunday, a series of coordinated suicide bombings targeted 6 locations in Colombo and Batticaloa. The attack struck St. Anthony's Shrine in Kochikade, St. Sebastian's Church in Katuapetia, the Shangri-La, Kingsbury and Cinnamon Grand hotels in Colombo, and the Zion Church in Batticaloa, claiming the lives of 274 people. Subsequent explosions were also reported at a guest house in Behibala and a house in Dematagoda. 6 years on, the Easter Sunday attacks were once again taken up in Parliament today, following a motion presented by Ilange Tamil Arasukache MP Shanakyan Rasamanikam. During the debate, Public Security Minister Ananda Vijaypala revealed new findings uncovered through recent investigations conducted by the Criminal Investigation Department under the current government. He also provided an update on the ongoing investigations into former Chief Minister of the Eastern Province and former Deputy Minister Sivanesa Chandrakanthan alias Pillayan, who is currently in custody in connection with multiple charges, including the abduction and murder of the former Vice Chancellor of the Eastern University.
මෙතෙක් සිදු කළ විමර්ශනවලදී පිල්ලයන් 2019 4/21 වෙනි දින වනවිට මඩකලපුව දිස්ත්‍රික් පාර්ලිමේන්තු මන්ත්‍රී
According to investigations conducted thus far, it has been revealed that Pillayan was detained at the Batticaloa prison on the 21st of April 2019 in connection with the assassination of Batticaloa district parliamentarian Joseph Parrajasingham. Crucially, it has also come to light that Pillayan was in custody at the time of the Easter Sunday attacks and had prior knowledge of the attacks. Furthermore, it has been revealed that members of the Military Intelligence Service were also detained at the same time in the Batticaloa prison and had maintained a close relationship with Pillayan. Based on these findings, there is a strong, reasonable and justified suspicion that Pillayan had prior knowledge of the Easter Sunday attacks. This matter is currently under active investigation.
යුක්තිසහගත ප්‍රබල සැකයක් මේ වෙනකොට ඉස්මතු වෙලා තියෙනවා. මේ පිළිබඳව විමර්ශනය කරගෙන යනවා.
On the 5th of September 2023, the UK-based Channel 4 television network aired a special investigative documentary on the 2019 Easter Sunday attacks. The program featured several revelations made by Hanzir Azad Maulana, who claimed to have served as the media spokesperson and financial coordinator for Sivanesa Chandrakanthan alias Pillayan. Addressing Parliament today, Public Security Minister Ananda Vijaypala also responded to and clarified matters related to the revelations made in the Channel 4 documentary.
මේ කරුණු පිළිබඳව හොඳින් දන්නා සාක්ෂිකරුවෙකු වෙනවා අසත්
A key witness with substantial knowledge on the matter, Azad Maulana, had been identified and multiple investigative teams are now working on leads arising from the information he has provided. The necessary legal and diplomatic steps are currently being taken to bring Azad Maulana back to Sri Lanka. A comprehensive criminal investigation is underway to determine whether any group affiliated with the intelligence services either directly supported or indirectly facilitated extremist groups in pursuit of political objectives.
ප්‍රශ්නයක් ඉතා ගැඹුරින් සිදු කරගෙන පවතිනවා.
Public Security Minister Ananda Vijaypala also addressed several lingering questions related to the Easter Sunday attacks during his statement in Parliament today. He revealed that, according to the investigations, the management of the Taj Samudra Hotel in Colombo had alerted state intelligence agencies about a suspicious individual, later identified as the bomber Jamil, on the day before the attacks. Jamil had reportedly been staying at the hotel at the time.
තාජ් සමුද්‍රා හෝටලය තුල පුපුරවා ගැනීමට අසාර්ථක උත්සාහයක් දැරු ස්වයන් ඝාතක බෝම්බකරු අබ්දුල් ලතීෆ්
Abdul Latif Jamil Mohammed, the suicide bomber who attempted but failed to detonate his explosives at the Taj Samudra Hotel, checked into the hotel on the 20th of April 2019, one day before the Easter Sunday attacks. At 16:52 hours on the 20th of April, he arrived at the Taj Samudra Hotel in Colombo and registered as a guest. The hotel management had already reported the identities of certain guests, including Abdul Latif Jamil Mohammed, to state intelligence agencies via email prior to the attack. This proactive move was due to the fact that Mohammed had been under investigation since 2017 for suspected involvement in extremist activities, an investigation known to the State Intelligence Service, other intelligence units and the police. Despite this prior warning, no action was taken by the intelligence agencies against Abdul Latif Jamil Mohammed, who was already flagged as an extremist. Had timely action been taken based on this intelligence, it is highly likely that the attack could have been prevented.
කිසිදු ක්‍රියාමාර්ගයක් ගෙන තිබුණේ නැහැ. ඒ පිළිබඳව ක්‍රියා කළේ නම් මෙම ප්‍රහාරය වළක්වා ගන්න තිබුණා.
Public Security Minister Anand Vijaypala told Parliament today that investigations have revealed a link between the group responsible for the 2019 Easter Sunday attacks and the killing of 2 police officers in Vaunathiu Batiklo on the 29th of November 2018. He further stated that a former LTTE member was initially arrested in connection with the double murder, but subsequent investigations uncovered that the arrest was based on fabricated evidence. The minister added that those responsible for tampering with the evidence have now been identified and a clear connection has been established between the Easter Sunday attackers and the Vaunathiu police killings.
Investigations initially led to the arrest of a former LTTE member, Ajantan, based on fabricated evidence, including a planted motorcycle jacket. However, recent findings by the CID reveal that the evidence was falsified to divert the case. It is a false investigation. An intelligence officer was arrested and action will be taken against the rest of the suspects. Notably, a T-56 weapon used in the Vaunathiu attack was later recovered near the body of Easter bomber Mohammed Niaz inside the Mardu on the 26th of April 2019 and was traced back to a civil defense officer from Eravur several years before, which was misplaced. One of the 2 revolvers belonging to the police officers killed in Vaunathiu was discovered among the cache of explosives and firearms found at the Lacto estate in Vanathavillua. The other revolver was recently recovered by the CID, hidden inside a chimney at a safe house in the Nindavur area, following a statement given by Zahran's driver, Ghafoor Mama, who was arrested in connection with the Easter attacks. This indicates that the Vaunathiu attack was initially misdirected by a misleading investigation. However, the CID is now conducting the actual investigation and the real perpetrators have been identified and arrested.
Public Security Minister Anand Vijaypala told Parliament that investigation teams are closely focusing on Pulastini Mahendran, also known as Sara Jasmine, who is believed to be the wife of the suicide bomber responsible for the Kathuapitiya church attack.
සහරන්ගේ කණ්ඩායමේ ප්‍රබල සමාජිකයෙකු පුලත්තනි මහේන්ද්‍ර නෝත් සාරා ජෙස්මින් 2010
DNA reports were requested on 2 separate occasions regarding the death of Pulastini Mahendran, alias Sarah Jasmine, a key member of Zahran's group, who was killed in the suicide bombing inside the Mardu on the 26th of April 2019. This matter has also been raised in this house. On both occasions, the DNA samples did not match those of Zahra Jasmine's close relatives. However, on a third occasion, the samples were compared with the DNA of Sarah Jasmine's mother. During this process, the then Minister of Public Security, Sarath Weerasekara, was asked to facilitate the provision of DNA samples. Serious doubts have since been raised regarding the integrity and procedure followed in obtaining these DNA reports on the third instance. While the first 2 tests did not yield a match, the third test reportedly did, leading to further suspicion about the process. Given the sensitive nature of this matter, I will refrain from disclosing additional details in this house at this time. However, officials of the CID are prepared to present the relevant facts before the court when required. There are now serious doubts as to whether Pulastini Mahendran, also known as Sarah Jasmine, actually died in the Saindhamardu blast on the 26th of April 2019. The Criminal Investigation Department is currently conducting a comprehensive investigation into the matter.
Sarah Jasmine 2019 4 වෙනි දින සයිඳුමර්දු ප්‍රහාරයේදී මිය ගියාද නැද්ද යන්න පිළිබඳව බරපතල සැකයක් දැන් මතුවලා තියෙනවා. ඒ අතර ඒ පිළිබඳව ගැඹුරු විමර්ශනයක් මේ වෙනකොට අපරාධ පරීක්ෂණ දෙපාර්තමේන්තුව සිදු කරමින් පවතිනවා.
2004 කාලයේ සිට හමුදා බුද්ධ්‍යංශ වලින්
Since around 2004, military intelligence units have reportedly established several covert groups, particularly in the eastern province, including in Batiklo. According to information presented, 3 such groups were formed at the time: 70 members in Eravur, 17 in Kathankudi and 63 in Potuville. Each of these groups was led by individuals named Samad, Faiz and Khalil respectively. It was further revealed that these group members had been issued identity cards during that period. By 2010, one of these individuals had reportedly been issued a national identity card by the Director General of the Civil Security Department, under which he continues to receive a salary from the department to this day. In 2008, Mohammad Razak, a former police officer of the Ravur police, was serving as the cook to the OIC of the Ravur police. His service weapon later went missing. That very firearm was later found during the Sainda Marudu safe house raid, allegedly used by Rilwan and others. The missing firearm from 2008 was the one that was found. Is a formal investigation conducted into this missing weapon.
මේ තුවක්කුව පිළිබඳව මේ වෙනකල් පරීක්ෂණයක් තියෙනවද?
FBI එක හරහා ලබා දුන්න ඒ IP address එකෙන්
An individual arrested through an IP address provided by the FBI was flagged as a national security concern by Brigadier Chula Kodituaku. Yet, the suspect was subsequently released. This matter has been raised in the human rights petition filed by Shania Besekara, who now serves as the current director of the Criminal Investigation Department. Meanwhile, Inspector Bandara of the Sri Lanka Police, who had been continuously maintaining contact with a suspect known as Pudi Zaharan or Matale Zaharan. Details were uncovered about an individual referred to as Sonic. According to the claims, it was this same police inspector Bandara who instructed the suspect known as Sonic to claim responsibility for the 2019 Easter Sunday bombings on behalf of Abu Bakr al-Baghdadi and the ISIS organization. Investigations can be conducted into those who are making these claims.
පුද්ගලයන් පිළිබඳව අද පරීක්ෂණ කරන්න පුළුවන්.
මට මතකයි දප්පුලි ද ලිවේරා හිටපු නීතිපත්
Former Attorney General Dappula de Oliveira revealed that there was someone directing Zaharan. It is your responsibility to reveal that individual's identity. What the Public Security Minister revealed were already uncovered during the Good Governance government. The only fresh development is Pillayan's arrest.
පිල්ලයන් අත්අඩංගුවට ගත්ත එක විතරයි අලුත් දෙයක් මම දකින්නේ.
නිකන් අන්තිම මාස දෙකේ ඡන්ද කැම්පේන් එකේ ප්‍රොපගන්ඩා නෙමෙයි.
This is not election propaganda put out during the last months leading up to an election. An anti-Muslim sentiment was created. They were in fear due to court cases being filed and wanted to claim power. A majority of the cases being heard today were filed in 2015, but those were betrayed by the Ranils, Sajits and Maitri Palas. This happened as part of the situation created with the objective of bringing the Rajapaksas to power. Islamic organizations had continuously warned of this attack. Ranil and Sajit are leaders who didn't care an iota about national security. When did tourism start falling? Leaders who failed to protect the nation from Easter attacks are questioning us about it now. The Ranil Sajid government carried on for some time after the Easter attacks. What probes were conducted? Evidence was erased. Officials were hunted and transferred. If I am not mistaken, around 700 officers of the CID were transferred. Investigation reports are ones that were cooked in Madamulana. Those are what they are applauding for. We have a gap in our conscience for our motherland. We will fill that gap and create lasting peace and harmony within communities. The godfathers of politicians who are applauding today will be brought to justice.
අනිවාර්යෙන් වරදකරු කළා ගෙනියනවා සිරකට කියන.
දැන් මේ සහරාන්ගේ බිරිඳ ඉන්නවනේ. හාදියා. එයා සහරාන්ගේ පවුලම සායින්දු මරුදු වල
Zaharan's wife is Hadia. Zaharan's family was killed in the suicide bomb blast in Saindamardu on the 26th of April. But Shiny didn't die. While testifying before the Presidential Commission, it was revealed that Shiny was calling out to Zaharan's wife from outside the house after she regained consciousness. She says Shiny called her to come outside. She then claims to have heard gunshots. Who shot Shiny? Hadia also claims to have seen Sara being taken away. Who took her away? Ask Major Subasinghe, where Sara was taken on the 26th of April after that bomb. Who was the commanding officer of the East at the time? It was your Deputy Defence Minister Aruna Jayasekara. He was the commanding officer when that bomb went off in Saindamardu. There are DNA reports obtained over Sara's death, but a number has been obtained to her name on the 1st of April 2020, a Mobitel number. Who is Abu Hind? The RAW in India conducted a training with Sri Lankan intelligence officers. During that training, a Sri Lankan intelligence officer was named Abu Hind. Find out who it is. There are many officers who were serving at that time who are with you now, who know his identity.
හොයාගන්න. දැන් තමුන්නාන්සලා පත් කරලා ඉන්න ඒ අපිත් එක්ක ඒ වැඩ කරපු ඒ ආණ්ඩු කාලේ හුඟක් පරීක්ෂණ කරපු නිලධාරීන් දන්නවා.
ඔව් ඔබ කිව්ව හරි මම නැගිනේ රාක්ෂපති තමයි AC.
Yes, you are correct. I was the commanding officer of the East when that entire scenario unfolded. I mentioned in my speech as well that a group of intelligence officers backed the extremists to achieve a political objective. It is only a minor portion of the service, not the entire intelligence service. Which is why I revealed that a comprehensive probe is being conducted to uncover those details. When I was called to the CID to provide evidence, I didn't tremble in fear. As an MP and the Deputy Minister of Defence, I am bound to be held accountable. When the CID summoned me, I faced their questions for 6 hours and provided my full support for the investigations. I provided information on my duties while I was the commanding officer. A small group of intelligence officers operated covertly, unbeknownst to an entire nation.
News First with the people.
Case file.
Daughter of Dr. Maheshi Vijayaratna, a specialist at the Sri Javardhanapura Hospital, who is currently remanded, was released on bail today. Colombo Chief Magistrate Tanuja Lakmali Jayatunga ordered the suspect to be released on a surety bail of 500,000 rupees.
Hemali Anitra Vijayaratna, a 21-year-old woman arrested by the Kesalvatha police for allegedly making death threats to officials of the Commission to investigate allegations of bribery or corruption, was released on bail by the Colombo Chief Magistrate today. She had been in remand custody until today following her arrest and production before the magistrate's court. When the case was called today, the Kesalvatha police submitted a progress report to the court, stating that CCTV footage from the day of the incident, believed to have taken place within court premises, had been reviewed. According to the police, the footage revealed the suspect speaking to bribery commission officials in a suspicious manner. The police further informed the court that the CCTV footage also showed the suspect leaving the court premises with another individual, who is now also being investigated. Taking these facts into consideration, the magistrate granted the suspect bail under a surety of 500,000 rupees and issued strict instructions prohibiting her from making any threatening remarks to witnesses or complainants. The case is scheduled to take up again on the 27th of August. Additionally, in connection with a separate investigation by the Bribery Commission regarding the same incident, the magistrate also ordered the suspect's release on another 500,000 rupee personal surety bail. Appearing on behalf of the Bribery Commission, officials informed the court that based on a directive from the Director General of the Commission, they would not make any verbal submissions in open court regarding the investigation. They said that all progress would be submitted to court in writing. The investigators requested the court to issue appropriate orders concerning the suspect after reviewing the material submitted.
Case file.
Colombo Chief Magistrate Tanuja Lakmali Jayatunga ordered that the suspended Commissioner General of Prisons, Tushara Upuldenia, who was arrested by the Criminal Investigations Department in connection with an ongoing investigation into the unauthorized release of inmates under the guise of a presidential pardon, be released on bail today. The magistrate imposed a travel ban on the suspect and ordered that his passport be surrendered to the court. She further issued a restraining order against the Commissioner General from entering any prison premises during the ongoing investigations. Tushar Upuldenia was released on a surety bail of 25,000 rupees and 2 sureties of 2 million rupees each. Investigating officers from the Criminal Investigations Department informed the court that on 3 separate occasions across 28 prisons island-wide, a total of 212 inmates had been released in violation of legal procedures, falsely claiming presidential pardons. Investigations have also uncovered that 9 inmates were unlawfully released from the Anuradhapura prison on Vesak Poya Day. CID officers revealed that following the controversial incident, the suspect had summoned the superintendent of the Anuradhapura prison to the prison headquarters. CCTV footage shows that 2 individuals had engaged in a discussion regarding the matter, which is now under investigation. The case will be taken up again on the 20th of November.
The Supreme Court today directed the University Grants Commission to strictly enforce the guidelines formulated to prevent harassment in universities. The court also instructed the Minister of Education and Higher Education to provide the necessary financial support, technical support and facilities for the implementation of these guidelines.
The order was issued while considering a fundamental rights petition filed by Pasindu Hirushan de Silva, a first-year student who sustained physical and brain injuries due to harassment in 2020. The directive was given by a 3-judge bench comprising Justices Shiran Gunaratna, Priyantha Fernando and Sobita Rajakaruna. The bench further ordered the case to be recalled on the 14th of January to review the progress made in implementing the court's orders.
The final rites of the late Bratman Veerakorn, a respected and distinguished public servant of Sri Lanka, were held at the Boralla General Cemetery today.
The mortal remains of the late Bratman Veerakorn, a revered and distinguished public servant of Sri Lanka, were placed at a private funeral parlour in Boralla from yesterday, allowing the public to pay their final respects. A large number of mourners, including prominent political and public figures, visited the parlour from yesterday evening to pay tribute. This afternoon, the mortal remains were moved from the Boralla funeral parlour to the Boralla General Cemetery with the participation of students from St. Thomas's College, Guruthalawa, Veerakorn's alma mater. The final rites were then performed at the cemetery amidst the presence of family, friends and colleagues.
The 14th traditional Asala procession of the historic Ruhunu Kataragama Devalaya is set to parade the streets today.
The historic procession, renowned for its intricate choreography, paraded the streets for the 13th time yesterday. The official media sponsors of the traditional Asala procession this year are Sirasa TV and Sirasa FM. A large number of both local and foreign devotees have gathered to pay homage. Basana, the main tusker of the historic Asala procession, carried the relics in the procession. The final Asala procession will parade the streets on the Asala Full Moon Poya Day tomorrow. The live broadcast of the event will be telecast tomorrow from 10:30 p.m. on Sirasa TV.
Very warm and special welcome to Your Excellency Thabo Mbeki. Thank you so much for gracing us this evening.
An exclusive conversation with the legendary Thabo Mbeki, former South African president and vice president to the legendary Nelson Mandela. Value the past, build the future. Liberation, unity, tough truths and lessons for Sri Lanka.
How did you balance this dual responsibility?
I would say today, it's really because you base your knowledge and your experience, think on the experience of the past.
Former President of South Africa Thabo Mbeki in conversation with Siobhan Daniel. On air on Wednesday the 9th of July at 10:30 p.m. on Sirasa TV. Welcome back. The launch of the official website of the Law College Alumni Association of Sri Lanka was held today.
The unveiling of the official website of the Law College Alumni Association of Sri Lanka took place today.
Law College and the legal education has withstood the test of time. Nevertheless, we have to adapt to the changing tides of the world. We are now moving away from the dusty ruts of books in the library to a more vibrant, smart boards and a web-based education. The world is in constant motion. Education too has changed course to taking down notes on paper to a paperless classroom and technological advancement. Legal profession also cannot stay stagnant. Legal profession was never a path to be meant to be walked alone. We rely on the excellence of each other to strengthen and uplift one another.
The website is designed to support career aspirations, provide networking opportunities, showcase alumni achievements, and offer valuable resources for lifelong learning.
Johan Pires makes history by completing the world's ultimate mountaineering challenge, the 7 Summits. Sri Lanka's trailblazing mountaineer Johan Pires made history by completing the world's ultimate mountaineering challenge, the 7 Summits. The 7 Summits scales the highest mountain on each continent.
Yes, this goes back 11 years or 14 years ago when it all started off. And I started climbing. And then, of course, there were all the challenges that came with it. I also wanted to prove to the world that we, maybe a small little dot in the Indian Ocean, but we were a people of resilience, strength, and courage. And what we have gone through in the past, we fought a war for 30 years. We've gone through all kinds of political unrest. We've gone through a recession that we're just trying to come out of. But we are a people of resilience who have held it together. We have come through situations and we have come on top. And that was exactly what I was trying to prove as well. We will come on top and we will fly our flag on top. And that is exactly what I did. I took my flag out and I thought this was the highest point the Sri Lankan flag has gone to. And it was an absolutely proud moment for me. It was a humbling moment for me.
Johan Piris will go down in history as the first Sri Lankan to achieve this feat. This final expedition marked the end of an extraordinary quest and the start of a new legacy for Sri Lankan mountaineering.
US President Donald Trump has threatened to impose up to 200% tariffs on pharmaceuticals imported into the United States very soon.
Addressing a cabinet meeting, US President Donald Trump said, quote, "There are going to be tariffs at a very high rate, like 200%, end quote.
And we'll be announcing something very soon on pharmaceuticals. We're going to give people about a year and a half to come in, and after that they're going to be tariffed if they have to bring the pharmaceuticals into the country, the drugs and other things into the country. They're going to be tariffed at a very, very high rate, like 200%. We'll give them a certain period of time to get their act together.
Adding to it, US Commerce Secretary Howard Lutnick told foreign media after the cabinet meeting that details on pharmaceutical tariffs will come at the end of the month. He added, quote, "With pharmaceuticals and semiconductors, those studies are being completed at the end of the month, and so the president will then set his policies then, and I'm going to let him wait to decide how he is going to do it," end quote. According to foreign media, the US president has repeatedly threatened and then changed course on tariff proposals, so there's no guarantee he will set pharmaceutical tariffs at the 200% rate. Pharmaceutical stocks were largely unchanged following Trump's comments. It is Trump's most significant comment on pharmaceutical-specific tariffs since April, when his administration initiated a so-called Section 232 investigation on those products. The legal authority allows the Secretary of Commerce to investigate the impact of imports on national security. Those planned tariffs would deal a long-awaited blow to pharmaceutical companies, many of which have pushed back and warned that the levies could drive up costs, deter investments in the US and disrupt the drug supply chain, putting patients at risk. Trump has said tariffs will incentivize drug companies to move manufacturing operations to the US.
The International Criminal Court has issued arrest warrants for 2 senior Taliban leaders, accusing them of crimes against humanity for the persecution of women and girls. The Hague-based court said there were reasonable grounds to believe Supreme Leader Haibatullah Akhundzada and Chief Justice Abdul Hakim Haqqani had committed a crime against humanity in their treatment of women and girls since seizing power in 2021. In that time, they have implemented a series of restrictions, including on girls over 12 accessing education and barring women from many jobs. In a statement, the ICC said that, quote-unquote, while the Taliban have imposed certain rules and prohibitions on the population as a whole, they have specifically targeted girls and women by reason of their gender, depriving them of fundamental rights and freedoms. The United Nations has previously described the restrictions as being tantamount to gender apartheid. Afghan human rights activists have called for the Taliban's system of depriving women and girls of rights and freedoms and enforcing segregation to be recognized as gender apartheid. In response, the Taliban said it doesn't recognize the ICC, calling the warrant a clear act of hostility and an insult to the beliefs of Muslims around the world. The Taliban government has said it respects women's rights in accordance with the interpretation of Afghan culture and Islamic law. Akhundzada became the supreme commander of the Taliban in 2016 and has been leader of the so-called Islamic Emirati of Afghanistan since US-led forces left the country in August 2021. In the 1980s, he participated in Islamist groups fighting against Soviet military campaign in Afghanistan. Haqqani was a close associate of Taliban founder Mullah Omar and served as a negotiator on behalf of the Taliban during discussions with US representatives in 2020.
Passengers at US airports will no longer need to remove their shoes during security checks under a new policy announced yesterday, ending a 20-year requirement. Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem revealed the updated TSA rules at Ronald Reagan National Airport.
Secretary to the Department of Homeland Security Kristi Noem announced yesterday that the Transportation Security Administration of the United States will no longer require travelers to remove their shoes during security checks at US airports, ending an unpopular policy. TSA had been requesting most US air travelers to remove their shoes during screening for nearly 2 decades. The new policy began nationwide implementation on Tuesday. Secretary to the Department of Homeland Security Kristi Noem, addressing a news conference at Ronald Reagan Washington National Airport in Arlington, Virginia, said that the change was in effect immediately for airports across the US, though a multi-layered screening process would remain in place.
And it's important that we find ways to keep people safe, but also streamline and make the process much more enjoyable for every single person. So our security technology has changed dramatically. It's evolved. TSA has changed. We are very confident that we can continue to provide hospitality to folks and for American travelers and for those visiting our country while maintaining the same standard of security for passengers and for our homeland.
TSA began making passengers remove their shoes to screen for explosives in August 2006. The policy was implemented nearly 5 years after the 9/11 attacks and when Richard Reed, who is known as the shoe bomber, used matches in an attempt to ignite explosive devices hidden in his shoes on a flight from Paris to Miami. According to the US Department of Transportation, more than 1 billion passengers flew through US airports in fiscal 2023 on over 10 million flights. Before Noem made the announcement official on Tuesday evening, some airports including Cincinnati, Northern Kentucky International Airport, Philadelphia International Airport and Piedmont Triad International Airport in North Carolina had already started implementing the new policy. In a huge blow to Sri Lankan cricket, Wanindu Hasaranga has been ruled out of the T20 series against Bangladesh due to an injury.
Wanindu Hasaranga sustained the injury during the third and final ODI against Bangladesh, which was played yesterday. According to a statement released by Sri Lanka Cricket, following his arrival to Colombo, Hasaranga was directed for rehabilitation at the Sri Lanka Cricket High Performance Centre. The statement added that a replacement for Hasaranga will not be named. The first T20 between Sri Lanka and Bangladesh will take place at the Pallekele International Cricket Stadium tomorrow. Charith Asalanka shared his views on the preparation for the game tomorrow.
We
first spoke about entering the top 5 of the T20 rankings. That is a process. What we need to do is perform consistently. There are still 2 or 3 positions where we need to find the right players. We have a plan to give Dasun Shanaka a set number of overs. If we bring in a power hitter, he should be our number 1 power hitter. We are hopeful that alongside Mahesh Deekshana and Jeffrey van der Sey, we'll have 2 more bowlers, and I can also bowl. So we are counting on those bowlers to deliver.
And
that's a wrap of your news for tonight.
Thank you for joining us.
Good night.